Katie, the Celestial Homebody, and it's my birthday. Woohoo! Technically, tomorrow, Tuesday, July 28th is my birthday, but this is the closest video to that. Today is going to be a very chatty episode because I had the pleasure this past weekend of judging crochet and embroidery and other fiber arts at a fair, which was cool, which I want to tell you all about. And also, Ryan and I took a little staycation for my birthday yesterday and Friday, and I thought we could have a little story time, but we'll do that at the end of the video once we get through all of what I crocheted this week. Oh, before we get, this hat does not want to stay on. I bobby pinned it in. We're going to talk about the hat, but if it falls off, it falls off. Before I show you what I crocheted this week, I wanted to let you all know that to celebrate my 31st birthday and to honor the day that I came out my mother's slip and slide, I am putting all of my crochet patterns on sale for 31% off. This is a birthday tradition that I do at the Celestial Homebody, where every year for a few days around my birthday, I put all of my patterns on sale for the percentage off of the age that I'm turning. So all my patterns are 31% off, both on my website and on Etsy. So if you've been wanting to get any of my crochet patterns and have been waiting for a sale, now is the time. It'll be going on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, July 27th through the 29th. And if you're watching this in the future and you missed the sale, I'm sure there'll be another sale soon. It just won't be my birthday sale until next year, in which case it will be 32% off all crochet patterns. So let's get into it, because I have a feeling today is going to be a longer episode because of all of the story time that I want to do with you guys. I have a lot to tell you, quite a bit to show you, not too many different patterns, but a lot of items to show you guys today. But we're going to get through all of the crochet first. And then for those who only are here for the crochet, you guys can sayonara. And then the rest of you all cool cats and kittens who want to stay for story time, we can all snuggle up by the campfire and have a little story time. But we'll do that a little bit later. So this week, I really got cracking on some of my newest pattern, which you guys might know are the itty bitty kitties. I made a huge Walmart bag full of itty bitty kitties. If you can see them all in there, I did not even count them, but I was just kind of whipping them out. I was trying to go through a few skeins of yarn that I have. So I made a couple in this Parfait Chunky Glitz, which looks so beautiful under this lighting and also in the sunlight. They really sparkle. These sparkly cats are the rare pull. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. This might be some of your guys' first video, in which case, hi, welcome. And you might not know what I'm talking about. So let me start from the beginning. So a few months ago, I decided that it was time that I purchased a gachapon machine for taking to crochet markets that I sell my crochet at. So I hopped on Etsy and I found a designer who makes custom 3D printed gachapon machines. And I finally got mine in the mail, and this is what it looks like. For those interested, I will link for you the seller that I got this from. It was a great experience working with them. They did so many things that I requested to make this machine really truly the Celestial Homebody. From the colors to customizing this back plate here, I specifically asked for various sizes of 4-point stars to match the brand. They did little gold sparkle stars for me that they actually included separately in the package so that I could glue them on where I wanted to. So I glued them kind of all over the machine. These two little clusters were like 3D printed into the machine. They did my logo on the front. What a great experience. I highly recommend this seller. I got the biggest machine that they offer, which takes 2-inch capsules. So this is what the capsules look like. I got these on Amazon. I'll link them for you too. But these are 2-inch capsules. So what you do is you unscrew the back here. You put in your capsules. This, I would say, for the big machine fits Oh my gosh, this hat is gonna drive me insane. We're gonna try to balance it atop my head. So if my posture is weird in this video, that's why. But I have to wear it. The birthday law says so. I don't wanna be arrested. So I would say that this machine probably holds more than 20 capsules, but less than 30 capsules. And once you fill up the machine from the back like that, then people will pay me, and then they don't have to use like a coin or anything. I know some gachapon machines take like a quarter or a specialized coin that comes with the machine, and I didn't want one of those because at markets, you know, you already have so much going on. The last thing that you need to like have to worry about is like where you put the special coins for the machine and then giving them to the customer and then getting it back from the customer or the machine once it's done being used. So this is great because the customer pays me and this machine will sit right next to me at checkout, and then they can twist it. And of course, when the machine is full, then the capsules will come out faster. But since there's only one in there, it really had to like make its way around the little pegs. Then they get a mystery capsule. And inside of these mystery capsules, hang on, pretend like you're not seeing this. A magician never reveals her secrets. Let's do that again. Hang on. So they twist the machine. They get a capsule ball. Ta-da! We just taught Celeste how to say ta-da, and it's adorable. Every time she does something now, my almost 2-year-old, she says ta-da, and it's adorable. Anyway, so the customer gets their capsule, and then they open it up, and inside it is an itty bitty kitty. So this one is an orange kitty with little white socks. I color changed for the feet. So that is what all of these cats are for. I have a bunch of pastel colored capsules, and my goal is to have 100 of them at very least before market season, which starts in September and goes through October. I have 3 big markets, 2 and 3 day events through September and October. So I want to have enough itty bitty kitties prepped to sell at those. I have taken the capsules with me to 1 market so far without the machine because the machine wasn't ready. I had ordered it, but it did take like over a month to be made because it was so custom. So if you're gonna get one, just keep that in mind. You're not gonna have it soon, but it was worth the wait for me anyways. So I took the capsules and then I just laid out like the different types of cats that were available to get in the capsules, and then I just put all of the capsule balls in a tub, and they're a little bit see-through so people could kind of like try to get the one that they wanted. The black cats and the white cats specifically are really easy to see through these balls, so people were able to get the one that they wanted. But even without the machine, which I feel like adds a lot of interest and interactability, so it would probably increase sales, but even without the machine, I sold 20 in a 1-day market. So if I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm gonna have 7 market days that are like full 15-hour days coming up in the fall. So if I sell 20 a day, that's a lot of itty bitty kitties that I gotta prep. And I want to, of course, be over prepared versus under prepared because I can't sell what I don't have, and I don't want to run out of cats. Or capsules, that is, the cats in the capsules to put inside of the machine. I always want this to be fully stocked because I have a feeling this will be my main money maker. I mean, even just without the machine, what I made of the itty bitty kitties at my last market near paid off the machine before it had even arrived to me. So I think that this thing is going to pay itself off quickly, and it wasn't too expensive. I think it was like $70 after tax and shipping, which in my opinion is not bad because I make my itty bitty kitties in under 10 minutes. I charge $10 each for them. The capsules are like 2 cents each, if even that, and these hardly take any material at all. So I mean, all in to make an itty bitty kitty, we're talking like $1, like at most, including my time, I feel like. So to charge $10 for them, which in my opinion, I do think that they're worth $10 from a customer point of view. People love the mysteries. There's a reason that you go into the toy section at Walmart or Target or wherever, rip Toys R Us. I was about to say Toys R Us, and I'm like, that's not a thing anymore, to everybody's dismay. The kids nowadays, they won't even know the joy of smelling Toys R Us. Smelling Jeffrey the Giraffe. Anyways, you go into those stores and the walls in the toy section are just filled with those little mystery capsules. And some of those things go for like 25 bucks. So I feel like this is an item that people are, this cake is starting to look like the cake in Sleeping Beauty because it's tilting off my head, but it's staying put. So we're going to leave it. Sorry, squirrel. I am on one today, you guys. I had some energy earlier, and you can tell I'm wired. What was I saying? This is going to be worth it for people, I think. So the machine will pay it off fast. Pay itself off fast with the sale of these. So if you're wondering what pattern this is, it is a free pattern here on the channel. I recorded a video tutorial for it, but if you're somebody who doesn't like video tutorials, then there is a paid PDF pattern for it available on my Etsy and on my website, which is like $1, especially now that it's on sale for my birthday sale. So yeah, this is a very quick make. So I'll show you all of the ones that I made. So I told you about the Parfait Glitz, and I give all of the cats different eyes, and I just, on my sign, I should put like a little blurb that says like, eyes vary, eye color varies maybe, because I just use whatever eyes I have on hand. Like I only had 2 or 3 sets of these sinker eyes with the glitter discs, so I was only able to get 2 cats with these, and then I switched to these green eyes. So when I have the examples out, because I like to put one of each cat variant out so that people see like what their options are of what they can get, I should tell people or add it to my sign, eye color varies. So besides this one, the glitter kitties are the rare kitties, and then the ultra rare kitties, which I only made 3 of in this entire bag. My odds, I want to say, like I want to try to make it so that the rainbow cats only appear in 1 out of maybe 25, 1 out of 25 pulls. So they're ultra rare. And then the glitter kitties, maybe like 5 out of 25. And then all of the, well, no, because that would be the same odds as all the other ones. I don't know. I haven't really figured it out yet. For right now, though, I'm just making as many as I can with 1 skein of yarn, with the exception of the rainbow kitties. So this is what a rainbow kitty looks like. This is Amazon chenille. I will link it for you in my Amazon storefront. Love this yarn. Love, love, love. It is such a treat to work with. And it's the same makers of this brown variegated. This is just a different colorway in it. It is so soft. If you ever worked with Juicy Couture yarn from Joann's, another rest in peace establishment that we all miss. But Juicy Couture is very similar to this Amazon chenille, but this is a little bit thicker. So I use a 4mm hook for all of my itty bitty kitties, and they are like the perfect size to fit inside of the capsules. And if you don't want to do the whole gachapon thing, you could just stuff these nice and firm, and then these would be a great like bag charm. Put a keychain on that baby, and that would be a great little, you know, keychain, bag charm, whatever you want to call it. Or I know some people in the comment section of the tutorial video said that they're just going to like use them as desk ornaments or give them away to people as little pocket cats. Actually, I was considering naming these guys Pocket, but I felt like that was a little too much and that might ruffle some feathers amongst the prudes. So we went with Itty Bitty Kitty. So the next one that I made, I already showed you. This is the little ginger kitty, and I gave some of them blue eyes. I don't really want to hunt through here. Oh no, there's one right here. Some of them I gave blue eyes, some of them I gave black eyes, and they've got little white socks. This is Parfait Chunky in the color Honey. It's one of their newer colors. By the way, Premier affiliate link is also in the description box. If you click on my link to order your Premier yarn, it doesn't cost you any more money, but I get a small commission so that I can buy more yarn and you can enable my addiction. But anyway, so this little guy is one of my favorites. I am partial to ginger cats. I wonder why. And then this one is a little white cat, which, you know what, I'm contemplating maybe putting some blush on. Hang on, I have my little blush compact here. Let's see what these guys look like with some blush. This yarn is Bernat Pipsqueak, Bernat Baby Pipsqueak. Oh, they look kind of cute. I don't know. What do you think? Yay blush or nay blush? This nose is also a little wonky. Sometimes it's hard to get the noses embroidered on here straight because you're having to do it like right over the magic ring because their faces are so small. I don't know if I like the blush or not. I don't know. Jury's still out on that. Leave a comment. Let me know if you like the blush. But these guys I gave little black eyes, although I feel like a lot of white cats have blue eyes, so maybe I'll do some with blue as well, or green. And then the last variant that I did is these little gray tabby cats. This is Yarn Bee yarn. This is from Hobby Lobby. It is their velvet line. This stuff is nice to work with if you get a good skein of it, but unfortunately most of these skeins that I have come across are very starchy and not fun to work with. This skein was okay, so it was nice to work with, again with a 4mm hook. I don't know why these came out so much bigger than these. Maybe I don't know why. Was my tension just really loose? I might have done too many in the starting round of this guy. Let's make sure that he still fits. We might have to jam him in there. Oh my goodness, yeah, we're gonna have to really jam. Oh my gosh. Busting like a can of biscuits. Like me trying to fit into my high school jeans. Get in there, come on, suck it in. Do a little jump. Okay, it's in there, but I feel like if I just blew on it, it might pop open. Okay, I gotta be more mindful about making sure that I do not increase too much. I gotta watch my own video tutorial and follow my own pattern, apparently. But anyways, those are all of the itty bitty kitties that I made. I probably made 25 or 30 of them this week, so not too shabby. We are already like 18 minutes into this thing, and I have only talked about cats. So let's talk about the hat, since it's not wanting to sit properly on my head. So this, as you can see, is my crochet birthday cake hat. I have had this pattern saved since my last birthday. I was going to make it for when we did my birthday stream, my birthday live stream. That was a lot of fun. We didn't do that this year, or are not going to do a birthday live stream this year because I've got stuff going on my birthday. But I will link for you last year's live. It was so much fun. We played games, we had lots of laughs, there was a giant rubber duck involved. It was a good time. So if you want to go watch that, you can watch it when you're done with this video. But my plan was to make this to wear for that live stream. I ended up not getting around to it, so we made it for this year. Hang on, Ryan's texting me. Where is my phone? I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't know how long the hat's going to stay on, as fun and thematic as it is, because it is... I'm balancing this on my head like a princess practicing with books on her head. Even though it is bobby pinned in there, it still is not wanting to stay put. I think I might have overstuffed the top, but also the bottom is just too big. I followed the pattern exactly as written, and maybe the pattern writer just has a larger head than I do, but it's a little bit too big. So this was interesting. I did not realize when buying the pattern that it was actually written to triple strand size 3 or 4 yarn. I could have made it out of plushy yarn, and that would have saved me a lot of headache, because if you've ever tried to triple strand yarn in crochet, and I tried 3 different colors in one, it was not an easy feat trying to manage all of the different things, all of the different skeins just like all over the place and getting like caught on each other. And it was, I would have rather just used one like size 5 or 6 yarn. I had already picked out the yarn when I read the pattern for the first time, and it said triple stranded, and I was like, okay, well, let's just try it. Got about halfway through the first part of it, the top right here, and I was like, I should have just done flush yarn, but I was already too far in, so we just stuck with it. I will say I'm very happy with how the colors turned out. So for the colors in the main cake base, I used 1 strand of Big Twist Rip acrylic in sparkly pink, and then I used 2 strands of Loops and Threads soft ombre, I think is what it's called, from Michaels, and I double stranded the soft ombre with 2 separate skeins and then 1 strand of the sparkly pink, and I think that it looks really cute. It has almost like a fleck to it, and it ombres a little bit, like in different spots for different colors. Kind of makes it look like pink funfetti, which I love the vibe of. And then for the frosting here, which I did not follow the pattern on, by the way, I went completely rogue doing the frosting because I didn't care for the way that it looked in the pattern. This is from Hobby Lobby. This is sparkle cotton. It's like 98% cotton and 2% metallic. It's got a little sparkle to it. This is from actually a ombre skein, so I only took the parts that had the dark pink in it, and then I think there was also orange and purple in it. Lighter pink maybe, I don't recall, but I only took this color, and I had plenty of just this color to do all the way around both of the cake layers, and then I added a little frill at the bottom here, just for a little extra fun. And then for the candle, this is Big Twist cotton, I believe, in blue and white. And then for the bows, I use, what is this? It's also from Michaels. Is it from Michaels? It might be from Hobby Lobby. I don't know. It's just like light blue acrylic. I thought that the color scheme was cute. Of course, it's me, so I had to go with all the pastels. In the pattern, she used a light pink base with a dark pink, similar to mine, but hers was a little bit more bright, I guess you could say. And then I think she did pink bows as well, but I decided to go with blue. And then you can also like do a little chain in between the bows, but I was already working on this thing for like 6 or 7 hours, and I didn't want to spend any more time doing the chains of frosting in between, to be honest with you. But I think it's just decorative enough with the bows. What do you think? I will say that this pattern was not my favorite with how it was formatted. I feel like maybe it wasn't tested. I don't know. I feel bad for critiquing patterns, but you guys are here to hear my honest thoughts about patterns, especially if you're going to spend your hard-earned money on it. You want to know my honest thoughts. Some things were just out of order, like this instruction should have been before this other instruction, but instead it was after, so I had to go hunting for it in the pattern. So that wasn't great. It wasn't a very expensive pattern. I want to say it was like $5. Hang on, I'm going to try to re-bobby pin this. Maybe that helps a little bit. But it turned out cute. I'm happy that I made it. It will probably become a tradition on the channel for me to wear my cake hat. Also, my friend Paige came over a few days ago and we did a little brand photo shoot because she is a new-ish photographer and I wanted to help her get some exposure in the central Indiana area. And also I wanted to get some new like brand photos for my website and maybe even my profile picture and cover photo here on YouTube. And so I asked her to come do some photos for me. So we did that a few days ago and she did one of me in my hat. That turned out really cute. I'll put it in here for my birthday, which was sweet of her to do for me. So I'll share those photos when I get them back, but they are in her hands and she is editing them right now. And I'll probably actually end up doing some sort of poll on the community post about which photos you guys think I should use for my new profile picture and cover photo for the channel. That would be fun to get you guys involved. Plus, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun options and I'm going to have a hard time choosing. Okay, moving right along, let's show you the things that you saw in the thumbnail. And these are actually 2 free Instagram patterns. So this is the first one. Last week, I showed you guys a swimming pig pattern that I had done by the pattern designer Crochet by Liza. So on her Instagram, she has a few free patterns, and this is one of them. If you don't know who this is from Beauty and the Beast, Mrs. Potts. Miss Potts? Is she married? Miss Potts or Mrs. Potts? I feel like it's Mrs. Potts, but it's been a hot minute since I've seen Beauty and the Beast. She has a child, so either she's married or she was doing the horizontal tango out of wedlock. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I don't know, but this is her. She is a teapot, and the pattern for being a free pattern was very well written, especially with the complexity of this. It's not that complex, but it is no-sew. You would think that for something that looks this intense with all the color changes, like yes, there are color changes, but it was no-sew. Like you would think that you would have to sew a bunch of pieces. Sorry, I'm picking fluff out of it. It's actually more of my hair than it is fluff, to be honest with you guys. I only have myself to blame on this one. But to do the little teapot, what do you call that? Spout? Here is my handle. Here is my spout. Yeah, spout. Slash nose. It's kind of like her nose. She's got a long pointy nose like myself. You just chain when you're doing the body. You chain and then you skip a bunch of stitches and then you finish the body and then you go back and slip stitch back onto that like circle and then crochet around for the nose slash spout. This thing looked creepy as heck with the eyes in it before I went back to stuff it and finish the nose. It looked crazy. It looked like a mouth of some sort of like a scary movie creature. It was very unsettling, and this was a very much so trust the process sort of make. It wasn't until I had embroidered the eyebrows and the mouth on it and the eyelashes and then added some blush that I was really like, okay, this was worth the time. And honestly, this didn't take me too long. This took me maybe an hour and a half, but I could have done it faster. I was watching Project Hail Mary when I was working on this. Great movie, by the way. So good. Plus, I have a little crush on Ryan Gosling. Such a great movie, though. So cute. It made me laugh out loud a few times. I laughed. I cried. Highly recommend it. And it is streaming for free on Amazon Prime Video. But I was watching that movie and I was, getting invested in it. So I wasn't going the quickest on this little lady. So an hour and a half, but I think you could probably do it faster, even with all of the color changes. Very well written free pattern. I used Burnout Blanket for the white and then Elise Voluto for the purple. Oh, cha-ching, we just got a sale. What did they get? Oh my goodness, we interrupt this week's makes to show you what they got. Oh my gosh, they got a Yarn Chicken Champion sticker, a Solar Flame hook halo to hold their crochet hook, and also a nylon wristlet. And also a Stardew Valley inspired chicken pattern. Thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate it. Heather, if you're watching this right now as your order just came in, leave us a comment because that would be fun to see. What was I saying? Oh yes, Elise Voluto for the purple. For the yellow, I used Basics Brights from Premier in the color Banana. And once I was done making Mrs. Potts, I was looking through Crochet by Liza's Instagram, and then I saw this. And I was like, well, we did the mama, so we got to do the baby. And this is little Chip. Oh my gosh. I feel like I probably could have stuffed the base here a little bit more. I will say, bit of advice for you. If you're going to make these, the stuffing is quite tricky because you want to stuff the body and then not stuff here much at all because you don't want it to be like protruding too much, and then stuff the base very, very lightly, but it's difficult to strike a balance between too much and not enough. I feel like I landed a little bit on the side of not enough. As you can see, it's a little wobbly, but I kept having to take stuffing out because I could not get this part to sit flat for the life of me because there was too much stuffing in there. Oh my goodness, this hat. I feel like the Cat in the Hat right now. Who remembers the Cat in the Hat? That was Jim Carrey, right? That came out in like the early 2000s. That thing was creepy, man. It was Jim Carrey, I believe. They were doing a whole Dr. Seuss theme in the early 2000s with live action movies. Anyways, I digress. Chip was just as easy as Mrs. Potts. A little bit easier, of course, because he's smaller. And this was another very trust the process thing. Before I had done the nose and before I'd gotten all the embroidery on, I was like, this thing looks like poo-poo on a stick. I don't like it. How does hers look so cute and mine looks not so cute? And then I added all the finishing touches and bing, bang, boom, as Celeste would say, ta-da! This is adorable. So if you're gonna make these, follow through with it. If you think that it looks creepy or if it looks weird or if it doesn't look good, wait until you get all of the accoutrement on and then judge. Because I think that they were well worth the time that I put into them. They look so cute together. Chip is a little bit large for my liking, like in relation, right? I feel like he should be a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Use the same yarn for him, burnout blanket, baby blanket technically for the white, and then the banana color, Andalese Voluto for all the other colors. What else about him? Oh, in the pattern, it says to use gray for the chip, but I didn't have any gray yarn next to me, and out of pure laziness, I didn't want to go get up and get it, so I just used black for the chip. But I think from far away, the black looks maybe more realistic. I mean, it's a crochet plushie, so it can only look so realistic, but you know what I mean? From what I'm seeing on the monitor, it looks pretty darn realistic from way back here. So we've got Miss/Mrs. Potts and little baby Chip here. Then this week, I did a pattern test for a viewer of the channel. Now, normally, I don't do a lot of pattern tests for viewers. Oh my gosh, we just got another order. This one's from Etsy. Thank you, you guys. What did they get? They got a pattern. Oh, they got the Bartleby the Bumblebee pattern. Thank you, Katie Harris. Hey, we're name twinning. I don't know if you watch the channel, but thank you if you are. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I don't do a ton of pattern tests for viewers. My DMs are pretty much always full with y'all asking if I will test patterns for you, which is so humbling to me. I love seeing those. Just sometimes I just don't have the physical time or mental capacity to do pattern tests, because pattern tests take more than just, you know, me making the item. It's editing, reading through it multiple times, and helping format and do math, which I do not like to do. Look, I cried every single night doing my elementary school math homework at the kitchen table. I have healed, I have moved on, I don't want to go back there and address it. So pattern tests aren't always my cup of tea. Plus I've had a handful of bad experiences in the past. One primarily where the girl told me that she literally just asked me to do it so that, or put me in the pattern test. I had applied, but she put me in the pattern test so that I would give her the free publicity because I have a large following. And that's not cool, you know? And I was like, if you want me to pattern test for you, you should want me to pattern test because you respect me as an artist and value my opinion and input on your pattern, not just for free publicity. That's not cool to me. But anyways, I digress. So this one though came through and I was like, you know what? This one's really unique. It's nothing that I have ever seen before. And it looked like a little bit of a challenge. And I wanted a little bit of a challenge. This was a like pre-test, I think. Like none of the other pattern testers had even gotten it yet, or maybe they had but had not done notes or anything on it. So it was definitely in like an infantile state that I have a lot of pattern notes for that I actually need to send back to the designer. This is by, let me tell you who this pattern is by the way. So this pattern will be coming out by Toasty Creations. I will link their Instagram for you. But this pattern is PB&J Bear. And this was just too cute for me not to do. I like a little bit of a challenge, especially after doing all of the itty bitty kitties this week. I was like, let's do something a little bit more involved. Holy color changes, Batman. This one was a little more involved, but it was a fun make. I'm not sure when this pattern will be coming out, but I will put all of the info for you in the description box once I talk to this creator. I was not in the tester group. They had sent it to me in an email separately, so I don't know what's going on with the test. I need to get like my final photos and everything over. But this one definitely I had a lot of notes for because, like I said, it was in a very infantile stage of pattern testing. My colors actually ended up on the opposite side of what they were supposed to because the instructions weren't clear when joining the legs and which leg to join to which leg color-wise. So I ended up joining like the purple to the brown when I should have done the brown to the purple or vice versa. I can't remember. But anyway, so that resulted in all of my stitches being backwards pretty much in the rounds. So I had to cut my yarn and adjust quite a few times. So I have all of that in note form to send back to the creator. But is this not just so fun? Like, it's creepy, but that's perfect because we're coming up on Halloween season. All of my markets upcoming for pretty much the rest of the year outside of one, which will be in December, are going to be before Halloween. So this is the exact type of like weird novelty thing that I feel like not a lot of crocheters will have at their booth. And in this day and age, when everybody and their monkey's uncle is crocheting and selling at markets, you want to do things that stand out, you know? That's not a bad thing. I like having a lot of people in the community, the crochet community. But when you're selling, it's nice to have some things that draw people into your booth. And I feel like this is just the kind of like weird, wacky thing that would do that. This is going to take a very special type of person to buy this. Oh, let me show you the back. I'm just sitting here yapping about it. My color changes actually turned out pretty straight, besides the fact, because again, I ran into that problem with the pattern and I was following it to the best of my ability, but it ended up being that the peanut butter side of the bear is bigger than the jelly side. Oh well, you know, I personally like more peanut butter on my sandwich. You know, my peanut butter to jelly ratio is always less jelly. Anybody else? And I would personally opt for strawberry jelly instead of grape jelly, but the grape is more iconic, and this is what the pattern called for, so we did grape. I did do some different things with their little neckties. So in the pattern photo, they had like an actual ribbon tied around their necks. Well, one had a bow ribbon and then the other had like a ruffle ribbon around the neck. I decided to crochet it because I didn't have any ribbon that matched. So I did the peanut butter brown for the jelly side, and then I did kind of like a clown collar, which I just freehanded in this dark purple for the peanut butter side. My favorite thing about them is their contrasting eyes. I was going to hand paint eyes for these, but I was kind of in a hurry to get this done, so I just used glitter discs. But I used white pupils with orange discs on the jelly side, and then on the peanut butter side I did purple glitter discs with black pupil eyes, so they really have that contrast. Love these little leaves on top of the jelly, you know, because it's like grapes, and then there's a peanut butter splatter on top of the peanut butter side. So the colors that I used was Burnout Mystical in what is the purple color called? Is it called Amethyst? I feel like that's not right. I know the pink is Pink Quartz. I don't know what the purple's called, but it's the only purple in the Burnout Mystical line, I believe. So this one I chose because it was variegated, and I thought that it would be a cool contrast to have a variegated with a solid next to it. And then for the peanut butter side, this is the color Toast. It's one of the Mama Made Minis collab colors with Premier Basics Brights. Side note, they're coming out with more colors. I don't know when, and I don't know what the colors are going to be, but they said in the Premiere podcast that they are making new colors that fill in the gaps of the already existing color line. So they're going to have like another green shade to add to the 2 greens that were already there, you know, so all laid out. I am imagining like a full rainbow, you know, spectrum of colors and various shades, because there were quite a few gaps in the original line that they came out with, and they've listened to our feedback and are taking it to heart apparently, and they're getting samples and everything. So I don't know when the new colors are coming out, but they are, just to fill you in if you did not know. But this is the color Toast. And then for the peanut butter splatter, I used Rust in the Basic Sprites. For these green leaves, this is the color Chartreuse in Parfait Plush. And this dark purple is Elise Voluto. This guy is a lot smaller than I was thinking that it would be, but I love the size of it, because if it was any bigger, then I would probably have to charge quite a bit more because of material usage, and also more rounds means more color changing. I'm so happy that I had my hook halo, because I was doing this in the car, so I could easily switch between dropping my hook and picking up my scissors. If you don't know what the hook halo is, by the way, I'll put a picture of it in here. It holds your hook and your scissors and also your needle, but I was doing it in the car, so it was so nice to be able to have that, to just drop my scissors, pick up my hook. I'll include any additional information about this pattern and its release and the creator's Instagram, that is, down in the description box. So that is everything that I crocheted this week. I know that not that many patterns, like I said, but a lot of items because of those like 30 itty bitty kitties that I had done. So if you were just here for the crochet, then I will say see you next time. But if you would like to stay for story time, go ahead and grab a little snacky snack and snuggle up, come and sit on Aunt Katie's lap right here, and I'll tell you a tale of how I got invited, as the very famous person that I am, to go and judge a fiber art category at a fair. So many months ago, back in winter, a friend of the channel, I'm going to call her a friend now, Tammy, reached out to me. I had met Tammy actually at last year's Greensburg Fall Festival, which is like my hometown fall festival. She lives a little over an hour away here in Indiana. Sorry, I keep pulling hair out. I'm shedding like crazy at this time of year. Paisley does too, my golden doodle. I feel like we shed at the same time. So Tammy is a regular viewer of the channel, subscriber and everything. So she reached out to me and was like, hey, would you be interested in judging crochet and embroidery at this year's Jackson County Fair here in Indiana? And I was like, sure, why not? She's like, we'd pay you for it. And I'm like, I don't even care about that. Like, that would just be a cool experience to go and do and have the tale to tell you all. So the time has come. All these months later, I have had it on my calendar, and I've been so excited to go and judge. And I walked in not expecting anything. I have submitted things to fairs before and won. Pats on the back. Blue ribbons before for various things. Paintings I have won blue ribbons for. Crochet as well. Actually, when Celeste was a little itty bitty baby, just fresh out the womb, I had made her a Halloween costume. It was like a little mermaid tail and a little bralette thing. It was so cute. Submitted that to the fair and won a blue ribbon for her Halloween costume. So I have been on the other side of submitting things before, but I have never judged before, and I didn't really know what to do. So I did watch some YouTube videos about like what the judges look for and do. So I studied up a little bit. Unfortunately, I was not able to film the actual judging process because it was closed. I do have a few clips throughout these next few stories that I'll just be putting up on the screen here as I'm talking. Little B-roll clips and whatnot, but I unfortunately was not able to film like me actually judging. We pull up to the Jackson County Fairgrounds, which is in like central southern Indiana. It's between Indianapolis and French Lick, if you're familiar with the anatomy of Indiana at all. And the fairgrounds were so nice, way nicer than our fairgrounds here in my hometown. Ours looks like it's just like in the back alley of some place, really sketchy, but they had like a whole sign and everything and so many buildings. They even had like a full restroom building, which we just have porta potties. So it was very nice pulling up. I'm like, wow, this is ritzy. So we meet Tammy, say our hellos, and then she introduces me to some wonderful ladies who are going to be helping me judge, or so I thought. So they sit me down and they tell me like the process of judging. They show me all the categories, and there's like 30 categories that we're judging. So crochet in wearables, in blankets, afghans, sweaters, scarves, other, you know, like there's all these different things. Plushies was not its own category though, and every fair is different, but I know my fair also does not do plushies as its own category, which in my opinion I think they should, because it's a different type of crochet, you know, than like flat crochet. And then we were also judging knitting, similar categories for wearables, baby items, blankets, wall hangings, etc. I was judging embroidery, machine embroidery, as well as hand embroidery, cross stitching, chicken scratch, what else? There was like, I would say probably 35 different categories that we were judging. They told me though that unfortunately this year they had not gotten as many submissions for fiber arts as they have in years past, which was surprising to me because I feel like fiber arts are kind of like getting a resurgence and a boom. But then again, a lot of people don't have time to do it nowadays. I myself, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you guys, but I myself am also an embroiderer. I actually started embroidering long before I started knitting, and I was an embroiderer and a knitter before I was a crocheter, which is just funny because now crochet is like my shtick. But I did all the fiber arts at one point in my life, and I would like to go back to doing more of them. I just, you know, don't have time to, so I just pick one, which happens to be crochet. So anyway, so they were telling me that they didn't have a lot of submissions. So some of these categories we just went right past because nobody even submitted anything for them. And there was a handful that we just went right past. Then on the categories where there was only one submission, they automatically won a blue ribbon, which if you're unfamiliar with how fairs work, blue ribbon is first place. At this fair, and most fairs, I feel, red ribbon is second place and white ribbon is third place. And then there's also grand champion, which is typically a purple ribbon, but again, each fair varies. At mine and at the Jackson County Fairgrounds, they do purple ribbons for the grand champion. And what that means is you win a purple ribbon if you win for the entire category or the entire art, right? So we started with the crochet stuff. So the first thing was wearables. So there was a scarf, a hat, and then like a cowl. So I had to look at them and judge and decide which of these items would get first, second, and third. And I asked the ladies who were helping me, what do you think about this one? And they're like, oh no, we can't help you. And I was like, oh, this isn't like a group effort. I'm doing this all on my own. And they're like, yeah, it's only one judge. And then the pressure was on. And I was like, oh my gosh, we just got another Etsy order. Thank you, Yesenia, for getting the Moonkeeper pattern. So yeah, the pressure was on to judge these correctly because it was my first time doing it, so I didn't really know, you know, what I was looking for. So I was asking questions along the way of like, how should I view this, right? So on the scarf, for example, it was like a waffle stitch, and they used a beautiful variegated, or not a variegated, a ombre yarn that went from like blue to green back to blue and teal. It was so pretty with like an overlay of waffle stitch, white waffle stitch, and it looked, the stitches were so neat. But when I folded the scarf in half, one side of the scarf was wider than the other side. And I was like, see, I feel like I should deduct points for this because somewhere along the way they either increased or decreased. And so I was asking them questions like, should I take that away, you know, like for mental points from this item? And they were kind of just only able to give me generic things like, look at the whole item overall. And if, you know, two items are equal, then maybe one thing will just drop a little bit below because of XYZ. They told me that some judges in the past had taken away points if the article like smelt or if it had pet hair on it, or if the back wasn't finished, which are all things that I learned in my YouTube university before going to judge. So I ended up giving that scarf first place, and then second to a beanie that had like color changes halfway through. It was like half white and half black, but the inside of their work was kind of messy, like with unwoven and ends and everything. It was so difficult to judge. Like I said, I do hand embroidery, so I kind of knew what to look for, and I was able to determine like this is a very advanced technique. They have a bunch of different stitch types. They're doing satin stitches and French knots, and you know, like I was able to identify that and be like, this is a very skilled artist. But then I would look on the back, and it was in a frame, and the entire back of the frame was just like duct taped, right? And then this other item did not show as much, what's the word I'm looking for, initiative with their techniques, but they had the finished piece professionally framed. So I was asking the judges, it's like, am I judging based on the entire finished product or only on the embroidery itself? So that was difficult for me, but especially hard was the machine embroidery because I don't have an embroidery machine. It is on my list to get because I would love to have one. I would use the heck out of that thing. But I was like, how do I determine what's good and what's bad? It's a machine doing it, right? So I ended up choosing first place for this incredible tree skirt that was Nutcracker themed. And each panel, it was, in addition to being embroidered, they had also quilted it. So each panel was almost shaped like a peacock feather. And then it was like a different plaids, green and red plaids, and some white like snow fabric thrown in there. And each panel had an embroidered ballerina or fairy, Nutcracker, or Mouse King on it. And it was just so beautiful. And I definitely would have purchased that because we always do Nutcracker themed Christmases at our house, and so I might have been a little partial to it just because I liked the theme, but I was trying to be non-biased. But anyways, I ended up choosing that one for first place in the category that it was in, which I think was other, I don't remember. And then the most difficult part came, which was choosing the grand champion for each of the categories. So I had 3 purple ribbons to give, 1 for crochet, 1 for knitting, 1 for embroidery. Well, the embroidery category was especially hard because I was comparing hand embroidery to machine embroidery. And I was like, I don't know if I can in good conscience give this ribbon, this grand champion, to something that wasn't handmade. So I struggled with that a little bit, but I asked the judges afterwards if they agreed with my judgment, and they said for the most part, yeah, like, and everything that I was saying was very on par with what they have seen other judges say in the past. And overall, I did a good job. There was only one that they disagreed with, which was the very first category in crochet. When I had given that scarf first place, they said that for them personally, that change in width in the scarf would have been too much of a con to give it first, and they would have probably given it to that hat instead, or that like that cowl thing that, yeah. I ended up giving the cowl first or third place because it was only double crochets the entire thing. Like, it didn't have any additional technique. The hat had, it was the color changes, then it also had like a crocheted sunflower on it, so it showed a little bit more technique and different stitches. So that's ultimately why I gave it the placing that I did. That was the only one that they disagreed with, and I was like, that's fair enough. You know, I mean, none of the items that were presented to me were perfect because most of them were handmade. And even the machine embroidery ones, these people still did something extra to it, like frame it or sew it into a pillow, or like I said with the tree skirt, quilt it in some way to be a wall hanging or a bedspread or something like that. So that was my experience with judging. And then I got an $80 check, which was pretty cool, which pretty much paid for gas to get there and home. So that, I mean, wasn't even a concern for me. I was just honored to have been invited to go do that. So thank you again, Tammy. I know that you're watching, for having me. That was a blast, and I would love to do it again. Now I am a seasoned pro at judging, and I know what to look for now. But this weekend, I also took a little staycation with my wonderful, handsome best friend and husband, Ryan. So Friday and Saturday, we did a staycation, which is like a vacation where you stay pretty much at home. So my mom lives in a suburb of Indianapolis. We live about an hour away from the city. We dropped Celeste off at my mom's house on Friday, like midday, and then we went and stayed in a hotel in Indianapolis on Friday night into Saturday, and it was so much fun. That was the first time that we have ever been away from her overnight, but it was kind of a test run because Ryan and I have to fly out and leave Celeste behind, unfortunately, to Texas in November because I am the best winch. And one of my other best friend, Arnold, he's getting married and he asked me to be his best man, but I'm his best woman, his best winch. But they're getting married at Texas's, the world's biggest Renaissance fair, but it's in Texas. So it's going to be all like Renaissance attire and everything. I'm hyped for it, but that's in November. But Celeste is not coming with us. So this was kind of a test run to see if she would be okay away from us overnight. And she was fine, man. When we left, she was just like, see ya, I'm busy. My mom has a pool and so many toys for her. And I mean, it's like every grandma's house, right? So Celeste loved hanging out with grandma. So Ryan and I went and we got to stay at the Columbia Club, which is one of Indiana's historic hotels. And when I tell you, oh my gosh, we just made another sale. What is happening? We're popping off today. Oh my goodness. This is for Christina. Also got a Moonkeeper pattern. Thank you so much, Christina. I'm going to put in some clips here of our weekend as I'm telling you the story. So the Columbia Club was built in like the late 1800s and then refurbished in the 1920s. And I found this hotel for an incredibly good deal at hotels.com. It was either booking.com or hotels.com, but it actually ended up being cheaper than staying at like a Best Western or something in the city. And we wanted to stay in like city center because we wanted walkability to be able to walk places. Because of course, in a big city, you have to pay for parking. So we wanted to just be able to park in a garage overnight and then not have to pay for parking everywhere we went. So staying somewhere like central was important to us. So the Columbia Club came up and it was a great deal. I don't know what sort of deal they had going on, but this hotel is normally like $600 a night, which is way too rich for my blood. I have champagne taste on a beer budget, so that would have never flown, but I got a really good deal on it. So we walk in, and I'm not used to staying in these ritzy hotels, okay? Normally, we're like a Motel 6 kind of family, but we walk in, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe deep down, I actually am very bougie, because now I don't know if I could ever stay in another hotel, because that place was swanky, man. Look at this lobby that I'm showing you right now. It looked like a hotel that we would have stayed in during our honeymoon when we went to the UK. It was just stunning. This lobby, look I literally feel like I'm in England right now. Look at me in comparison to the size of this fireplace. Mind you, I'm 6 feet tall. Look at this detailing and the stained glass with the piano over there. I wonder if they have a pianist in the evening. There's the bar over there behind the doors. Wow. Look at the ceiling detailing and the lights. This is one of the oldest hotels in Indianapolis. So we dropped all of our luggage off in our room and we just went and walked around the city. We went to this rooftop bar, which again, very swanky. I had told Ryan a few weeks ago that for my birthday, I wanted to do check off one of my bucket list items. And one of my bucket list items is to have drinks on a rooftop in a major city. I don't know why that is something that I've always wanted. I don't even like alcohol. I hate the taste of it. But just something about that feels very classy and adult. And I'm like, you know what? I'm 31 now. Let's do it. So right across Monument Circle was another hotel, another historic hotel actually, and they have a rooftop bar. So we went and had drinks at the rooftop bar. I only drank like 4 sips of mine, but we got some good pictures up on the rooftop. But we could not have asked for better weather. It was a beautiful 71 degrees with a breeze, no humidity. And after the heat wave and all of the smoke in the air that we have been in, this just was hallelujah. It was so incredible to sit on that rooftop with my best friend. We just chatted for an hour and we sipped on our drinks. My drink is very rosy. Oh, I do not like the taste of alcohol. Ryan's does not have much left, but he got a cute little pink drink too. That one has a very oaky afterbirth. There's habanero in yours. That's probably what I'm tasting. That's it tastes like wood grilled something. Like the aftertaste of it.
Yeah.
Don't drink alcohol, kids. It's bad for you, it's expensive, and it's nasty. Ryan drank all of his. I had, like I said, 2 or 3 sips of mine, but it looked very pretty. Although I did learn a very valuable lesson, my friends. If you go to a very swanky bar and they ask you, what kind of water do you want? I was just I don't know, still water, because I figured that they just had regular water and carbonated fizzy water, bubbly water. What do they say? Carbonated? I don't know what the term is for it. Fizzy water? No, that doesn't sound classy. Whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. The bubbly water or normal water. So I was just still normal water. And then she brings out a bottle of water. And I was like, this is just your normal water? She's like, oh, well, we also have tap. And I was like, oh, I just wanted tap water. But she had already brought this bougie bottle of water to the table and opened it like a wine bottle and poured it for us. That bottle of water was $20. And I looked at the menu and I saw that I had accidentally just ordered a $20 bottle of water. And I was like, okay, I guess we're not eating tonight. I'm just joking. But my judging earlier that day helped pay for our $20 bottle of water that we did drink all of. I was like, we are not leaving this table until we make use of all of this water. This is ridiculous. So between the bottle of water and 2 drinks, it was and tip, it was a $60 tab, which is crazy. But anyway, so I smell smoke. I bet you our neighbors are having a campfire. They always do at this time of year. Yeah, it smells like campfire smoke. Now I'm going to smell like campfire smoke. Oh, gotta love your neighbors. They're actually really cool people, but during summer, they're having bonfires every single night. And then our neighbors across the way like to light off fireworks at 11 o'clock at night, 3 weeks after 4th of July. I digress. But I got to check that off my bucket list, which was fun. One of our favorite things to do when we go to any restaurant or anything is we like to eavesdrop on what other people are saying. And I think that the people who were next to us, we were just sitting there like staring at each other, mentally communicating. Ryan and I can like mentally communicate. We've been together for so long and we started dating when we were practically kids. So we can just look at each other and like speak, and we were listening to the people behind us and we think that they were on their first date, which was adorable because they were just like making small talk and everything. So we were just eavesdropping on them, which was fun. We walked around the city, we got an ice cream, and it was just such a beautiful night. And Ryan and I got to hang out with each other. We got a good night's sleep without the dogs because the dogs are normally all up in my business when I'm trying to go to sleep. So the dog stayed with my mom too. And then the next morning I got a massage. I feel like so pampered. It's incredible. I have not gotten a massage since I was pregnant with Celeste, I think, is the last time. So a little over 2 years ago now. It was actually like a doctor requested medical prenatal massage because I had a very high risk pregnancy with her and I was just stressed out. So my OBGYN was like, go get a massage. Your insurance covers it. So I went to like an actual medical facility and had a prenatal massage by an actual registered nurse. And the table was adorable because it had the face hole and it also had a bump hole, which was so cute. But that was the last time I had gotten a massage. And of course it was very light because when you're pregnant, you can't have like crazy deep tissue massages. So I had an hour-long massage and that was a very like bougie place. It was walking distance from our hotel. And oh man, he was really working out the knots on the right side, man. And I could feel him like really going in there. And I was like, don't be afraid to add pressure. Like I need it. I work with my right hand a lot because that's my hook hand right when I'm crocheting. And I also work at a desk a lot. So I have a lot of upper shoulder and upper back tension. And so he worked out those knots. And right after I was feeling like euphoric. I was like, ah. I was all like loosey-goosey. And then a few hours later, the soreness hit, which is normal after a massage, especially if you don't get them regularly, which I do not. That's a very special treat for me to do, unless it's medically requested by my doctor. But it's normal to like get sore because, you know, the muscles get like micro tears and everything. It's similar soreness to like after you just worked out. It's not like I can still move my arms and everything, but it's like, if I touch it, it's like, yeah, it's a little sore, you know, but it was well worth it. I think that I feel a lot looser. So maybe I will increase my crochet production by like 3%. 3%, that's not what I meant. 3 times the speed as I normally do because I'm all loosened up now. So we got a massage, or I got a massage, and then we went and saw the new Odyssey movie, and that was pretty much the end of my birthday weekend, and it was very special and meant a lot to me. Tuesday, tomorrow, if you're watching this on Monday, the day that I post it, tomorrow's my actual birthday, so we're gonna go just to dinner with like my mom. So we're gonna do that and probably go back to her house and have cake or something. But I want to talk a little bit about the Odyssey movie for those who are still watching this and still with me. I have some thoughts and opinions about it, and I'm going to keep this completely spoiler free. So if you have not seen it and still want to, you don't have to worry. But I know that this movie has gotten a lot of backlash and a lot of negative press, you know, publicly. So first of all, I did a major whoopsie. So I was looking for showtimes, you know, for what theater we wanted to go to that was closest, you know, to our hotel and all of that jazz, and a showtime that would work where we wouldn't be getting home too late. So I was looking at multiple different theaters, and one theater had a 2:45 showtime and one had a 2 o'clock showtime. And I was like, let's do 2:45 to give us enough time to like get out of the city and run a few errands. We had to go to like Sam's Club and stuff, do boring adults, things. So I thought that I had booked the theater for the 2:45 tickets, but I had actually booked the theater for the 2 o'clock tickets. So we show up at the theater and we walk in, and Odysseus and his men are entering the cave of the Cyclops. And I was like, this is halfway through the movie. What is, not halfway, but I'm like, this is well into the movie. And I was like, are we late? What's going on? So before we went and sat in our seats, I checked my phone, and showtime started at 2 o'clock. We walked in at like 2:50. We normally show up a little late because, previews. And so I was like, we missed like the first hour of the movie. So that was a big oopsie. When I tell you that theater was packed, it was assigned seating, and not a single seat in the entire upper section was free except for our 2 reserved seats. So it's a good thing that nobody had sat there. But I have never seen a movie that full in my life. So that was kind of cool to see, to know that, like the movie industry isn't dying like the malls are, because everything's streaming now. Also, going to the movies is so expensive. That's a different story for a different time. But anyways, different topic. I've already gotten too distracted in this video. You're just here for the yappuccino at this point. So we go and take our seats. We're already well into the movie. Now, I read the entire epic poetry series, I guess we could call it. When I was in college, I took philosophy. I know that it doesn't seem like it, but yes, I am an educated woman. I hold multiple teaching credentials as well as degrees. You wouldn't know it by looking at me and how I speak most of the time, but I am an educated woman. So I took many philosophy classes during my time in college, and reading the epic novels was something that I had to do and write term papers on. So I'm very familiar with the Iliad and the Odyssey. Ryan read like the Cliff Notes in high school, but did not remember any of it. So I knew kind of where we were in the plot. Ryan did not. And this movie theater was so packed, I didn't feel right leaning over to him and like telling him like who was who and what was going on. So he was just flying blind, poor guy. He's like, what is happening here? There's so many like weird names and stuff. And so after the movie, I was like, what's your review? And he said, so is Odysseus like Obi-Wan Kenobi? Because he just looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that was Ryan's review of the movie. My review is a little bit more in depth. So here's where I get to flex my literary knowledge here. So if you have not seen the Odyssey and are interested in seeing it, and you have source material knowledge, like you read the Odyssey book by Homer, don't go into it expecting it to be a one-for-one recreation of the book. And I was not, because I knew that this movie was an adaptation of Homer's Odyssey. It wasn't meant to be like a one-for-one recreation. And you know what? People have been adapting this incredible work of literary excellence for centuries. I mean, Dante even did it, and he put Odysseus in his Divine Comedy. I mean, centuries after Homer had published this book, right? So people have been adapting this for years. So I wasn't going into it expecting it to be like a one-for-one of the source material. They made some changes that I felt like were very evident that it was made for Hollywood. Like they really leaned into the romance of it between Odysseus and his wife Penelope. And that is not something really that is in the book. They also really toned down Odysseus's dickishness. I don't know how else to say it. In the epic novel, he is, what's the word I'm looking for? A prick, arrogant, very full of himself. In the movie, there's a tinge of that, but he's a lot more likable of a character, which makes sense from a storytelling perspective in a movie, because you want the audience to like your main character. I feel like if they had written it as if he was in the book, then the audience would not be cheering for him like Christopher Nolan, the creator of this movie, wanted the audience to see his main character, right? So that makes sense. There were some scenes that they had taken out, which again makes sense because that is like so many poems. We're talking thousands upon thousands and thousands of lines of poetry in the original source material that you just can't fit into a movie unless you were to do it in like multiple parts, right? So it makes sense that they were to take something out. What I was really looking for was, do they keep the essence of the story? Like, do they keep the main story beats and also the theme of this amazing work, which is that idea of the journey, not only the physical journey of Odysseus getting home after the Trojan War, but the journey within himself. That is the main theme going throughout the entire book. And I felt like they kept that in the movie. Even with some of the pieces that they had taken out or changed, I do feel like the essence of the original source material was there. And some of you might disagree with me on that, but that was my interpretation of it. As far as like the cinematography and everything, I think it's really good. If you have no prior knowledge of the source material and you're just looking for like a really good, very intense movie that has a lot of action, little bit of humor actually, kind of a lot of sadness, to be honest with you, then this is a great movie. I think I would give it an 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 in terms of like cinematography, and probably in terms of story accuracy or, you know, source material accuracy, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10. Overall, I'm going to say a 6 out of 10 movie. There were some things that I did not like, straight up did not like about it. Number one, there is a lot of animal abuse. So if that's something that triggers you, be warned. Normally before I go and see a movie, I go on doesthedogdie.com and I look at all of the animal abuse because I have no tolerance for that at all. And I did not do that for this movie. And so I bawled my eyes out every time there was some sort of animal abuse, not only with dogs, but with other animals as well. Very sad. So just be warned. The other thing that made me cringe was that this world, it's set in the Bronze Age, right? So this is 3,000 or so years ago, right? It's gotten a lot of criticism for not only the casting, but also the inaccuracies with like the costumes. I mean, Agamemnon's costume, he's looking like RoboCop or something. It's like so futuristic. Everybody in that cast is talking with a basic American accent, like the one that I'm using right now. And it is just so jarring to go into this movie that it's on this like grand IMAX screen and it is set 3,000 years ago and there's all of these like cultural references to back in that time period, and most of the costumes were fine with a handful sticking out as like being too futuristic, I guess we could say. Then to hear these characters be like, yeah, my dad is like coming home, in an American accent, it just like sucks you out of the world. So my biggest critique for this movie would be, why didn't you hire Greek actors? Like what? There are so many A-list celebrities in this movie. Anne Hathaway and who's the main guy? Who plays Odysseus? What's his name? I'm blanking on his name, but you might know his name. Tom Holland, Zendaya, Travis freaking Scott is in this movie. So many famous people. And I'm like, how many millions of dollars did this cost? Billions probably of dollars between all of the actors to hire these people who are just saying like basic lines in this very grand world of history. Tom Holland plays Odysseus' son. And there's this part where he's like, my dad's coming home. And it just felt so wrong and just way too modern of dialogue. And like, you couldn't have at least said, my father is coming home. Like, even in your basic American accent, you know, like, it would have been great if they had at least spiced up the dialogue a little bit to be a little bit like old worldly English if they were going to use American actors. But I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't like, yeah, dude, so bro, this is like crazy. Like all these suitors out here bringing on the max aura points to try to rizz up my mom. Like there wasn't that, but it kind of felt like that. So that would be my biggest critique, is the dialogue was way too modern. But maybe that's what Christopher Nolan was going for. He wanted to tell this tale in a more modern way. Sure. But I have rambled on for this for far too long. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk on the Odyssey and what I did this weekend and judging at a fair. And if you would like more Katie ramblings in the future, then leave a comment down below. Maybe we can have movie review Tuesdays or something where I give you my movie reviews and critiques. But with that, I am going to say goodbye to you now. Don't forget to take advantage of the 31% off birthday sale on all of my crochet patterns on Etsy and my website. Oh, before we go, we need to say a major, huge, gigantic thank you to our members in the Cosmic Couch Club. You guys keep this little galaxy spinning. Thank you all so much for joining me on this very rambling, long episode of this week's Makes. And with that, I will say, Rambling Redhead out, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.